the establishment of the gold board, one of the arguments for the establishment of the gold board was to centralize all businesses, all dealings regarding gold, to stabilize the city. This argument was made widely. If Mr. Gyamfi, the CEO who is responsible for maintaining sufficient reserves to support, to help, and to prevent the depreciation of the city, to stabilize the city, possesses dollars in his daily routine. And we say daily routine because when you go for a funeral 1 week and you have dollars packed in your car, then the indications are that that is your modus operandi in terms of spending. That is how you spend. That is the money you use. Because if you are just going for 1 week and you have tens of thousands of dollars in your car. Mr. Sammy Gyamfi, again, and clearly, he has no confidence in our city. And if you are superintending over an institution, which as part of its mandate is to help stabilize the city, that is the only legal tender, and I've already mentioned that. And if you have the head who superintends over this institution doling out dollars instead of the city, then it means that the person or the CEO, acting CEO, lacks confidence in the Ghanaian city. And that is key. And that is the more reason why we are of the view, the New Patriotic Party, and I speak for the party, we are of the view that if he is unable to stand firm, if he is unable to defend the city, if he is unable to protect the city, and he will rather be displaying dollars, then it means he cannot superintend over the same institution seeking to stabilize the city with gold reserves. But let me also state on record that under the gold purchasing program of the New Patriotic Party, our gold reserves as a country, which stood at 8.7 tons, for the last 40 to 50 years, grew to about 30.53 tons as at the fourth quarter of 2024. This program is one of the major reasons why we are seeing the appreciation of the city. Again, yesterday, the minority in Parliament also had a press conference where they also mentioned the allowances, the salaries of Mr. Sammy Gyamfi, referencing the minority press conference yesterday. The state cannot be paying Mr. Gyamfi hefty salaries and allowances for him to be undermining the very currency which is at the heart of his mandate. The state provides the following for Mr. Gyamfi: a gross basic salary annually 1.5 million, subject to an annual review and upward adjustment of 15%. 1.5 million a year. Hold on, that is not the only amount. Hold on. Let's go step by step. Hold on. Clothing allowance of 15% of annual salary, payable once per annum by year end. So the 15 million I just mentioned, he is entitled to clothing allowance of 15% of his annual salary. So he's entitled to 15% of 1.5 million, which is supposed to be his clothing allowance. Hold on. Travel with me. Hold on. Provision of 2 security officers or 6,000 each officer as an equivalent. 1 gardener or 4,000 Ghana cedis as a cash equivalent. Full medical cover for him, his spouse, and up to 5 children. Provision of 2 cars with full maintenance and insurance. Fuel allocation of 1,005 liters of fuel monthly. Fuel allocation. Do your own mathematics. 1,005 liters of fuel monthly for each official vehicle. The official vehicle may be sold to Mr. Gyamfi upon a contract expiration or termination per the company's asset disposal policy. 30 working days of paid vacation annually. 30 working days of paid vacation annually. Exclusive of public holidays. So anywhere in the world, if he decides to go to Bahamas, if he decides to go to wherever, if he decides to go there, the state is responsible to pay fully all the expenses for this vacation. Airfare up to $10,000 upon proof of per diem. Per diem of USD $2,000 a day. So if he travels for 30 days, it means he's going to receive $2,000 a day. For 7 days, payable in advance for annual familiarization tour. Business class travel tickets for official duties and $2,000 per diem per day of travel. Annual performance bonus subject to set targets and in accordance to the company's bonus policy. An unspecified CEO-related benefit shall be paid at the prevailing CEO's rate plus 20%. Personal accident and life insurance cover valued at 5 times the CEO's annual salary. Somebody said, hey, let me repeat. Personal accident and life insurance cover valued at 5 times the CEO's annual salary. The annual salary is what? 1.5 million. It is palpable, unethical, and a complete betrayal of the public trust for Mr. Sammy Gyamfi to receive all these benefits on the back of helping maintaining a steady currency, yet fail to have any iota of confidence in the Ghana cedi to the extent of using United States dollars as his currency of daily use. Ladies and gentlemen, it may have escaped many observers of this unfortunate incident, but not only, and this is an important aspect, not only was Mr. Sammy Gyamfi giving out United States dollars without restraint, but Mr. Gyamfi also engaged in patent opulence on ostentation of just after 120 days in government. On the day in question, Mr. Gyamfi was being driven in a 2025 fully spec'd Range Rover autobiography valued at $350,000. Fresh, it was fresh Range Rover autobiography, fresh, tear rubber, fully spec'd autobiography, Range Rover, 2025 model, $350,000. A question that should engage the minds of well-meaning Ghanaians and how Mr. Sammy Gyamfi can afford all these things under 120 days of being in government, and if they are gift, who are these persons gifting him, and what relationship do they have to his work as CEO? If within 120 days in office, appointees of Mr. Mahama have become culpable of such opulence and ostentation, then the years ahead will be indeed a telling story. Already, there is a loud cloud of corruption hanging around President Mahama's appointee. Following the indictment of Dr. Ayene, his Attorney General, as involved in corrupt activities, Article 88 of the Constitution is very clear. And I'll come back again to Sammy. But just about some few weeks ago, the Attorney General was accused of being a thief and being a corrupt person. In his defense, he said that A+ is saying so because he went for some monies from a certain businessman called Dr. Sledge. And that is why A+ is saying so. Now, A+ comes back, says that no, that is not what I'm referring to. I am referring to the 500,000 Ghana cedis. He's specific. He has mentioned the amount. I am referring to the 500,000 Ghana cedis you went for. And the reason for this money was to go and bribe the appointment committee of parliament, because you were appearing before the appointment committee. Now, he goes on to say that he is a stupid fool and he will reset his mind. Again, when the Attorney General attempted to respond, he says that A+ should not go there, and if A+ wants us to play in the mud, in the dirt, he is prepared. He can dirty himself. He can play in the mud, because where he comes from, they have been playing in the mud. So as for mud, he's not afraid of mud. Who says we want our Attorney General to be playing in the mud? Who? Who said? And you see, that is why I brought this constitution. In fact, the only minister with an elaborate mandate captured in the constitution is the Attorney General. Article 88 is clear. And indulge me. There shall be an Attorney General of Ghana who shall be the Minister of State and the principal legal advisor to the government. The Attorney General shall discharge such other duties of legal nature as may be referred to or assigned to him by the President or imposed on him by this Constitution or any other law. 3. The Attorney General shall be responsible for all the initiation and conduct, of all prosecutions of criminal offenses. All offenses prosecuted in the name of the Republic of Ghana shall be at the suit of the Attorney General or any other person authorized by him in accordance with any law. 5. The Attorney General shall be responsible for institution and conduct of all civil cases on behalf of the state, and all civil proceedings against the state shall be instituted against the Attorney General as a defendant. 6 and final. The Attorney General shall have audience in all courts in Ghana. So if you have your Attorney General who is unable to respond to such serious allegations, he is unable to respond to these allegations well, but then he says that, first of all, he's been advised to proceed to court, but then he will not do so because he's been given a mandate by the president. He wants to concentrate. I found that weird. Look, in your daily practice, you always go to court. If somebody says you are a thief, you are corrupt, you have gone for 500,000 Ghana cedis to bribe appointment committee so that you can sail through vetting, and the person says that you are a stupid fool and is going to reset your mind, and you are telling Ghanaians that you are not going to go to court, you will not proceed to court. Why? Because you are focusing on your work. Meanwhile, court is where you live, is where you sleep, is your home. So, is it not scary Is it not scandalous that Attorney General says that a member of his own majority caucus, an MP, not just anybody like me and you, MP says that you are a thief, you are corrupt, you have gone for 500,000 Ghana cedis, and all you can say is that you can play in the mud. As for you, you can swim in the mud. So A+ should bring it on. And then you are rather inviting us to ask A+ what he knows about the NSS scandal. What is our business? Is that supposed to be our business? You have the prosecutorial powers. You are the man in charge. And you are telling us to go and ask A+ what he knows about the NSS scandal. Look, this is below the belt. And as I've just read to you, for an Attorney General to be saying that I can play in the mat, and we are being told that A+ just apologized. So what now? It is going to be an apology spree. People commit offense and they are told to apologize, and that we so now we are going to live in a nation of apology. Everything is apology. So A+ apologizes, and then Sammy also apologizes, and then we leave it there. No. It's important for us to hold these appointees to account for their actions. Attorney General, you cannot say that you want to play in the mud. We do not want an Attorney General to dirty himself. No, that is not what we want. And again, we expect His Excellency the President not to sweep this under the carpet. These are serious allegations. And all we see is that A+ goes back to pull down the post and is made to apologize, and that is it. Mr. President is being put to the test on his commitment to the very values he sought to espouse exactly a week ago when he outdoored the code of conduct. The entire world is waiting with bated breath on further actions by President Mahama, considering the actions of Mr. Sammy Gyamfi and the Attorney General, who says that I want to play in the mud, I want to dirty myself. We want to see some action from President Mahama. We call on the President to show leadership, to act swiftly, decisively, and not to give Mr. Gyamfi and the Attorney General a pat on their backs for this reckless conduct. It's crucial to underscore the necessity of adherence to governance practice in line with constitutional and legal provisions. And this is an issue I really want to raise with you, and follow me on this. That guide the conduct of public officers in Ghana. You recall that in 2017, former President Akufo-Addo, through the National Executive Committee of the New Patriotic Party, issued a directive mandating that all party officials who had been appointed to governmental positions by President Akufo-Addo must resign from their political party roles in adherence to best practices in governance and accountability. So if you recall, even our current General Secretary, he was the then Ashanti Regional Youth Organizer. When he was appointed CEO, he resigned. A whole lot of ministers, Tutuko Afisa Jaba was a National Women Organizer. She also resigned. Mr. Mewu from Volta Region resigned. Of blessed memory, Honorable Ashiti, Greater Agradaa Minister, also resigned. Honorable Ajay as Mayor also resigned. The names, a lot, they resigned. Today, what do we see? It is important to note that a similar practice does not appear to have followed under the current National Democratic Congress. Several individuals, while holding influential governmental positions, continue to hold dual roles that may pose concern in terms of governance practice, legal stipulations, and ethical standards. Specifically, the following individuals remain in both political and public office, raising critical issues about potential conflict of interest and the need for compliance with relevant legal norms. The National Youth Organizer of the NDC, George Opare Ado, is a minister now. He's still the National Youth Organizer. Mr. Sammy Gyamfi is the National Communications Officer. He has not resigned. And he's still their communications officer. Basintali is still Deputy Communications, and Abisu, who is with the Minerals Investment Fund, is also still there. Osman Ayarega is also at post. Meanwhile, he's an NCA. Ruth Sedo is with the NSS. He's still holding on to his post. Mustafa Gbande is at the Office of the Presidency. He's still holding on to his post. Elikem Kotoko is now the Deputy CEO for Forestry Commission. Mr. Omane, Dr. Omane Buama, he's the Defense Minister. He was in charge of the elections. He's not resigned. I recall that even when I was elected as a National Youth Organizer, I resigned from Deputy Executive Director of NSS. Also, all regional and constituency executives who have been appointed into key government positions are still at post. You go to Ashanti region, their regional secretary is the regional minister, he's still at post. You go to Eastern region, I think the women organizer also was their women organizer, and today he's still at post. The retention of these dual roles by political appointees under the NDC administration raises significant legal concerns regarding the Constitution of Ghana, particularly Article 94, which disqualifies a person from being appointed a member of parliament or a public officer if they hold dual offices that are inconsistent with the principles of public service. Furthermore, Section 2, this is more important, Section 2 of the Public Services Act prohibits public officers from engaging in business or holding any other positions that might undermine their impartiality and efficiency in their official capacities. The continued holding of political appointments alongside public office positions undermines the principle of neutrality in public service, and these individuals remain bound by their party loyalties, which could affect their objectivity and ability to serve the state effectively. In the light of all these considerations, it is imperative for the government to reassess the position of individuals holding dual appointments and ensure that the requisite legal framework are strictly adhered to. The principle of separation of powers between political and public roles is not just a matter of legal compliance, but is central to maintaining public trust, ensuring the integrity of state institutions, and upholding the principles of good governance. We urge His Excellency the President to take immediate steps to rectify the situation by ensuring that all political party holders who have been appointed to public office, especially those holding political positions, comply with the relevant provisions, and also, as we said, because of good governance principles, they must resign. The clear delineation of political roles and governmental functions will reinforce the credibility of the administration and strengthen public confidence in the democratic process. We thank you very much for coming, and we hope that we'll be engaging you we are waiting for the outcome of His Excellency the President. Now, Mame Mwone Tofa Ewo Chi. Abusuanfo beda mo ase. Enese ye frɛ mo baya, edi kan ye beda mo nyama se na no demonstration a mo nyina mo gina mu ma ye man ye kama no ekoye ye beda mo ase enche bia no ye bekoso abodahuru afa enema bi ne anamontu a ye ba betu ho na ene adetitru nti a ye hia wa ha efa amamu ho encha na ye wura mahama ede krata ba ya watudin eye code of conduct na siche nyina ne se eye krata a wakuchiri se ne be ya eye omo a wapa omo so mbe ye adwuma o na aban mu no omo de ebe ye adwuma na ama amamu no ayefe eni na wotwe kra ana ye hu se the National Communications Officer of the NDC NIBM acting CEO Gold Board wako ayase ayase no wayi eye bronisika dollars ibi odi ama maame Agradaa na ohwe sika no se na osi kan ni bebrebe na Agradaa esa hwim ni aka nyina asa kan ho na ne ehu ne enwanwan se a National Communications Officer of the party was acting Gold Board CEO. Yera Mahama. And somewhere down Kofano no mo Kenya and say, Enya dia wonsa ubetimi dia kan eya branche san say oyo golden boy. Untimi nya ho hwe. Untimi nya bibia na kasa kwa. In fact, all social media so asema o mo kan no. Nanso no ade a waye no ya ade a ekire eye ahokyira Ghana for fam ene enema bu akosoro na wo hwe obi ono no hwe Gold Board so na wayi sika dosopuo dollars na odi ache ano hye etietia Ghana mra o code of conduct na nkasa o de bae no ebu nanimtia se opani Mahama anye hu bibia ye kira ni se eye o code of conduct na de bae ni se bia kra ta keke munyedu ebe ye mframa o kasa keke na minyin ni se sa na apese wo mamu no esiko no na ebia sipen eye abrante Sammy Gyamfi kro ye ebra ma Mrs Ladapa asemba ya yesi akwakwo hu sika bi woni fie abrante ya na kan se ma me yenyini firi ho yewura Akufuado out of good governance amamuo a opese mu dan fine no oma oba pani ogina djuma firi ni sema na so ma na resign ye ne ye kan se na no bi se ye de sa aba no bo tachi a yesi ye ne yemfanya dai yemfa boba wei aye ni tietietie se esi dan na obi a yenya ntua ne ka o na enei ono wetim yenya dollars dosopuo so wo hwe kwan so ofa so oyi dollar na wotimu se bebregu ho pa na usa hwe ebiem ka na otimu a ode koye na no ana Yero Muhammad kasa o kan bibi se na point is no they should eschew opulence and ostentation ye chenya ne se akesesem se ye disika kire on person na point is ni be sa ene isa wo hwe ka na Yewura Sammy Gyamfi kura dem 2025 Range Rover autobiography fully spec $350,000 ana otim no de ko ye keke wo hwe ye Ghana ye mramu o hwe the Foreign Exchange Act o hwe the Anti-Money Laundering Act ne ye kan se akutia ebiem se wo hwe eniema kese a akatua kra ye de ma ne ya ne se eye gold ya ye ka ho asemu nyina ne ye de Gold Board abai ni dwumadi kese ba akopa aban me ate ase ne se e baba be so ye sidinim ebe ma ye sidi na ede agina na opani a ono no wo Gold Board na o hwe se ye sidi ni begina no onje ye sidi ni ndi $80 na o yede o che. And this is serious lack of confidence in our city. Say wama yen yesika na yedie no. Emu gidie die wato no asawram. Obuna nimtia onfa nya hwe. Yen yesika yedie a eno ne yesi bra bebo ho ban na nke nei. Entimi nyina no. Wo ba wo de sid nanim onyam atwitwi fom. No ni ade ana wonso nyese sebe wo ye obi akeke o. Sebe nko obi akeka enuafo nka yemfrɛ nsɛnkyofo dwumadie. Eye Ghana ban sa wo hwɛ eye aketua kra na mo se yembetua ne kana. Ano ohye eye afimu bia no obegye 1.5 million Ghana cedis. Titi sika no 15 billion. Ena obegye. Uyi anu free man, na no so kwa no, yesa timitum oha mu nchichemu edunum utimitum after every 2 years bia no utimi esakire mu. Entade obehye menu mienu dia ye hye kama entade obehye no. Ono no de no. Aban ye fa ho ka 15% of the annual salary into your calculation now. 150,000 Ghana cedis in the ban is on Fanton Tadie. Sabi what Tadie show who out on the say. Tadie show uto on the say. And I yet 150,000 and for more Cabranes on Fanton Tadin she any shoes and she. The security for ye tiaka. You better do ne garden mu ye tiaka. Sika sema ye kan nyina ne na ketua ya kan nyina no eno nka sika ode ko hospital ho ni sika ni hospital ni bibia ne manum ne anya ne yire mu nyina no aban asai afa ho ka petrol 1,005 liters ya fa ho ka omo anko munim konta no ma me how many gallons 1,005 liters no ha me no nko ano ye se tua ka ansana ya sama no car mienu a ontwie ansana eye okọ ahomegye mu se opeso okọ ba bi ko gigi nani kakra wa bre wa ya adwuma bre no okọ a eno so ban fa ho nya ka yetwa business class ma no ni hotel ka ya fa ho ka ni bibia ya sama no 2,000 a day per diem dollars o aside aka ho aside ma no and $2,000 is 24,000 Ghana cedis. And no gin a day. And no gin a day. Et in ya can say, Abaya show say. Now say, Buyen ye see the name Mutiadia. Near yes, Raman Penny say, Nadaroma. Sabe. Sanya. Now no, a see ya. A year, your mammy Sicilia da pa, and no quano. OSP ya hwehwemu dia basa maame no kra no ne ho dai ne ho son asisika no ono ane dia ono oyobi a waye adwuma amfie duanan ne kunu sika kra de etisempo ano anwea woye architect over 60 years of experience 60 years an international consultant obi ani so oskapa one of the richest architects we have in Ghana na se enei obi akokotu sika no kra no yesi Anti-Money Laundering Act no. Wafum brano. Etino yenyinedi. Ene or resign here. It is ene sa na no bi. Ena sa asemi si ya. Ene it is only fair. Say employer Ramahama. Maninsi nchen ye mfa hwehwemu mra. Because nya che no kra so mo kra yentua o moka. Ene ne o manya sika ayesa dwumadie nyina. Na ade ba ko a na asefem so dwumadie nyina ho ne se achopa de ye achopa ye pa obi fomu a na opo achoa anuafo na modi ache na eno nkyere se ofum mra na o se wapa acho ni ama okọ na no A+ na attorney general baba be ka che ye se ono de A+ ya ono ni be di efimu agro na atechemu agro de na de tete no to no de obetumi atete ateche de aye no ho na wan na si attorney general na ye peso atete ateche de ye no ho na fo mo ha minyini se mo be pese ya attorney general no onware wa atechemu onware ofimu ontiti finya ne ho wo hwe constitution medical kan se wo hwe ne dwumadi ne dwumadi ne yakase pa ono na ye lawyer ni pani ejina homa Ghana ban ono na ye lawyer ni pani kese pa ejina homa Ghana ban na se lawyer ni pani kese ya ka tro se wo wakwa akwaji sika 500,000 ademude e de baba be ma appointment committee parliament se ne be ya obe go through parliament and you see kona ko sign wuti fa court house de be court na de obeko atinte huru be ne tua wo tunti a huntimi hwere treasure de nti na huntimi nko because e bia wo de plus ko a ba ono so wa be kana sem enti wo se ne wonko nanso no wodi nkofo bi kokoto saa ade akwadu a de bowi se wo ye kronfo wo no keta asehye ne proye adware wo wakwa akwaji sika de abrem na hyebedwefo no wo nso no wodi nkofo bi pese omode omkokota wo nso na wo se se wo charge omo for corruption but one so no yede bibisi ato so yewura mahama se wan me anya sa nhwehwemu ye nwi ane sisi a atoni general anamo a obi adwemu ni se yatoni general odware atechem yatoni general oyekronfo yatoni general wakwaja demude yatoni general ena ekono de bia bonsiniti ayekono sa no okọ sanse adwen a yedi hu no enti hosi etimi sign ti mi se nipa woni nipa nsa se enti wo yi ofo nsa no no ahwe won nsa se nipa woni nipa nsa se enti wo yi ofo nsa no no ahwe won nsa na kura wo Ghana nyira no tumi kura so na wo de obedi yensa ma ya obe yen na yen konko busa A+ now where from this pension for any as a media trial na ya the media for aba na ye kan sem a enim Tony General no kwasem nie wagu ne ho fi Tony John enkasa saa wagu ne ho fi Tony John enkasa saa wonni mo dwumadi e wo konsushuma ye nyade saa asem nso a ye de ato ne tiri so no wonhwe no nsan ne ti yewura mahama asudie kese mienu eda oso nie wawo code of conduct a wo de baaye ene emu nsem no ne epie banie ebie ma de ba kwa ya sen hu ne se ene NDC ebaye omo ya appointment bebre a omubu oman no na yawo omo ano omo ye NDC national officers be regional officers impo even constituency officers ene ya pa omo e wa ban mu na ado danko akufuado etwa asebi to ho mobeka ya 2017 na ado danko akufuado in consultation with the National Executive Committee of the party e de enhye bi ba se obi bia ya fa wo adwumam e wa ban mu na wo sai kura party de bre no jaito obi bia jaito ho eno no ade eboa ne se e manipa no nya adwempo Emma ordinary esi adwuma oye no so no aye ne ye eboa ma amamuo pa edadi etuwa enei miame boss oye current general secretary no ya Ashanti regional youth organizer obeye why CEO no resign here ni deputy Bashiru no resign here regional ministers ahodo bebre omba enya honorable Ashanti of blessed memory or resigning from Greater Accra region chairman Amewu resign here honorable Asuma Cheme resign here all over obia resign here me ebra ye elect me as national youth organizer na me deputy executive director NSS awa na resign here ene ni e kam yakwa ni say ye the NDC headquarters na wa dabraka no ya peja ne de akwa si Jubilee House and it is dangerous for good governance. Etienne ofa national youth organizer ono ye minister manenye na djuma on resign ni deputies nyina ba ko NYA Osman Ayarega Ruth ewo NSS omoda so ho Basintali odaso wa ye yeru akodua wa occupy position ni pen oye ya resign as a regional youth organizer wa Ashanti region I don't know that's award post yeru manebo ama odaso director of elections mi wa osaye minister of defense over regions ni ma bebre in fact regional secretary no on northern region on ewo Alhaji Loto on ewo NLA bebre all over Elikem Kotoko Yaira Koku, no your IT director, and then they will call NIA, Eric Omunina, no Mukuta positions. What we are calling on the president to do is and they would the code of conduct for appointees about say omonye impartial and it's a conflict of interest biaba eti no omo a wapa wo no eye wapa omo a sha omo no mo resign senya nanado danko akufado year 2017 ema omo a wa appoint omo nyina no e resign ye no mo so resign no mo focus on governance enti ebe say Ramahama we no boa ema Ghana no yekoye nim enti enese ye frɛ mo baa na adetitu enti ye frɛ mo baa nyame nhyira mo obesa tie nka biom.
I welcome Dr. Richard Ahiaba to mount the podium. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And again, I join in the apology for your long delay. Thank you for coming. We have called you this afternoon to talk about the negligence of the NDC and President John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, that has led to the loss of lives of some 11 or more people at the Anglo Gold Ashanti mines in Obuasi and Newmont in a related violence. This, in our view, is a very important matter that some of you in the media have talked about, but we think that it requires the attention of all of us.
Particular order, I see from the extreme right, Mr. Dr. Kumi, please forgive me, the Director for Elections for the party. Next to him, Mr. William Yamwa, the Finance and Administrator of the party. I see also Mr. Stonach Amponsa next to him. He's a Director, External Affairs of our party. My own Deputy, Dr. Asiedu Kukro, is here. Deputy Director, Communication is here. I see the minority third whip is here in the person of Honorable Jerry Ahmed Shaib is here. The national organizer of the party, Henry Nanabochi, is here with us. And of course, the deputy minority leader, the powerful Madame Patricia Apieje Evergreen, is here with us, supporting the Osahini, the Honorable Alexander Kwamina Apenyo Markins is here, the leader of the mighty minority in Parliament. Thank you very much, media, for coming. And as you are aware, today's press conference is to address the bitter 120 days we have endured under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC. We have two speakers today. The main act will be the Honorable Alexander Apenyo Markins, who would give the main speech. But leading the way would be the national organizer of the party, the New Patriotic Party, lawyer Henry Nanabochi, to give us his statement.
Thank you very much, our National Communications Director. Let me, on behalf of the National Chairman of the New Patriotic Party and also the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, welcome you all to the New Patriotic Party's headquarters. We also welcome the leadership of the mighty minority. led by Osahene Alexander Kwamena Afenyo Makin. Let me, on behalf of the party, say that we appreciate the work they are doing in Parliament, the commitment, the dedication. Yes, we know that we are few in Parliament, but we also know that we are mighty minority. And indeed, they have worked and they have achieved this particular name. We have had an effective collaboration with our minority caucus in Parliament. And today is a manifestation of such commitment and collaboration. The president yesterday set some questions for himself, and then afterwards he graded himself and said that 100% or so. But today we have the mighty minority here. Here are the NPP's headquarters to respond and to also let Ghanaians know that for the past 4 months, it is rather bitter 100 days. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, our friends, our cherished friends from the media, we welcome you all here. Let me boldly welcome the minority leader, Honorable Alexander Kwamena Afenyo Makin Osahene, to give us the 120 bitter days of the NDC led by John Dramani Mahama. Hello?
Thank you very much, national organizer of our party, director of communications, and other members of the national executive here for this collaboration that has resulted in this engagement to let the people of Ghana know that great betrayal of the NDC government, the 120 days of a bitter Ghana under President John Dramani Mahama. As we've already been told by the national organizer, yesterday, Mr. President marked his own script, a script that the questions were set by him, and after that, he gave himself a mark. This morning, we are here to expose all the lies, the falsehood, and the inconsistencies. We call it NDC's great deception, from their own social contract to a social collapse. 120 days of bitter government under John Dramani Mahama. In the lead up to the 2024 general elections, candidate John Dramani Mahama released a document titled Mahama's First 120 Days Social Contract. It was marketed as a sacred pledge, a hard-coded promise to the Ghanaian people, time-bound and specific. It was designed to inspire trust, rekindle hope, and restore the image of a party that was seeking for another opportunity to rule this country. The NDC promised to scrap taxes like COVID-19 levy. They pledged to ban illegal mining, slash import duties, revive industrialization, launch mass employment programs, hold public officials accountable, increase cocoa prices. Not the least, they promised the people of Ghana a 24-hour economy under 133, one job, 3 shifts. Then on January 7, 2025, standing before the Republic, His Excellency declared, quote, "I intend to tell you the truth," end quote. He claimed he would act with, quote, "decisiveness and restore," quote, "faith in institutions and initiate what he called a national reset." But after 120 days of his presidency, the truth is brutally clear. The social contract was a political bait and a switch, a glossy list of promises not meant to be fulfilled, but merely to be flaunted, exploited, and forgotten. 1, the taxes remain. 2, contractors remain unpaid. 3, illegal mining rages on, no state of emergency in sight. 4, industries continue to suffer. 5, unreliable power supply, what I call Doomsor Pro Max, is unfolding. Further, the job creation pledges have turned into press releases without action. The cocoa prices, the farmers who were promised that 3,000 per bag of cocoa was going to increase to 6,000 per bag, have also been disappointed. And the slight stability of the cedi, now claimed as the Mahama miracle, is nothing more than a byproduct of a weakening US dollar on the global stage. This, fellow Ghanaians, is not a matter of political disagreement. It is a matter of deliberate national deception. And as you are well aware, this is not just a speech, it is a call to remembrance and resistance. It is a forensic audit of the presidency that campaigned with the agency of a reformer, but now governs with the indifference of a ruler long exhausted by ideas. I dare say that the lame dark days of President John Dramani Mahama has already started. Today, what we urge Ghanaians to do is to rise up to defend the Republic. And above all, what is happening today is a clear warning. And we will not sit quietly while the will of the people is traded for political convenience. Now the 120 days are over. The promises have collapsed. The excuses have run dry. The reckoning must begin. Let it be said plainly to every Ghanaian. You were not given a reset. You were sold a recycled failure. And now the clock has run out. Accountability must take center stage. Let history record this moment, not as a dawn of renewal, but as a day the veil of betrayal was torn away. Now, let me give you the details. The promise of constitutional fidelity. Today, the executive has broken this promise. What we experience now is executive lawlessness. On his inauguration day, His Excellency vowed, quote, "I shall strive to exercise sound judgment and be willing to act timelessly to resolve our challenges," end quote. But when faced with a clear breach of Article 286, when his appointees failed to declare their assets before taking office as constitutionally required, he did not act lawfully. He invented a bizarre punishment, a 3-month salary forfeiture, no referral to the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, no investigations, no accountability. What the president did was not a legal remedy. It was a constitutional betrayal. By failing to uphold the law, the president brought his own oath and entire presidency into disrepute. Now they also pledged of security. They themselves, by their own actions, have undermined this through their neglect and the military politicization. In his inaugural address, Mr. President personally said that he was going to secure our sub-region and, quote, "We must work together to keep our sub-region safe," end quote. Yet under his own watch, Boku bleeds. Boku bleeds. The president offers neither decisive intervention nor compelling empathy. I repeat, today, Boku bleeds. The president and his government offer neither decisive intervention nor compelling empathy. Instead, this government has destabilized our armed forces, pegging seasoned, loyal, and trusted officers and replacing them with partisan subordinates. The fact is, the government is not protecting the state. The government is politicizing its spine. A commander-in-chief who weakens his own forces in a time of crisis is not a leader, we dare say. Environmental commitments eclipsed by Galamsey retreat. President Mahama promised Ghanaians that he would act decisively and swiftly as our country's leader. In his might-trumpeted social contract with the people of Ghana, President Mahama solemnly pledged, quote, "Ban illegal and new mining activities in forest reserves, roll out our Tree for Life and Blue Water Initiative to heal and sustainably harness the environment," end quote. And yet, illegal mining has flourished under his silence. Foreign nationals caught in Galamsey operations are deported, not prosecuted. Contrary to the campaign promises, the promised repeal of the LI 2462 remains unfulfilled. The rivers continue to run red. The forests are gashed open. And the president who accused Nana Akufo-Addo's administration of inaction on illegal mining and promised decisive action offers excuses. The government's inaction on illegal mining is not just disappointing, it is a betrayal. While in opposition, the NDC loudly declared that if elected, they would impose a state of emergency to confront Galamsey head-on. But 120 days into the government,